Have you noticed it? There's a new vibe coming out of India. You know, a real, unmistakable self-confidence that you can feel everywhere, on the cricket pitch, at the diplomatic table, and definitely in its soaring economic ambitions. But here's the big question. Is this confidence the real deal, or is it something else entirely? Let's unpack it.
It really all starts with moments like this one. So, the Indian cricket captain, Kumar Yadav, gets asked about the team's rivalry with Pakistan, and his response? A rivalry exists when it's close. That is a no contest. Wow. I mean, that's unapologetic, it's bold, and it's a perfect snapshot of this new Indian attitude on the world stage. It's not trash talk. It's just a statement of fact, delivered with this incredible, cool assurance.
And yeah, there's a word for this, swag. I know, it's slang, but it just perfectly captures this whole vibe, right? This mix of boldness and a totally cool, collected attitude, and that's exactly the phenomenon we're going to be unpacking today.
Right, so let's get into it. And make no mistake, this newfound confidence isn't just about sports. Nope, it's showing up absolutely everywhere, from the world of diplomacy to military affairs.
I mean, just look around. We're seeing it with world champions in para-athletics and this whole new generation of chess masters who are basically just making winning a habit. Then you look at diplomacy, and India's flipping the script. It's going from being seen as part of the problem to saying, hey, we're part of the solution. It's standing firm in trade talks, even against the massive U.S. economy, and it's showing real, decisive military intent. This is a total 180-degree shift in the country's posture on the world stage.
So, okay, that brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? Is this new attitude just talk? Is it just swagger, or is it actually backed by a real, hard substance? In other words, is this confidence truly earned?
And this is where it gets really interesting, because there's a razor-thin line here. It's the difference between swag and swagger. See, swag, that's earned confidence. It's backed by substance. It's the real deal. Swagger, on the other hand, well, that's when you risk slipping into complacency and overreach. And honestly, the entire story of what happens next really hinges on which side of that line India manages to stay on.
So what does it take to back up that swag with substance? Well, it means hitting some incredibly ambitious goals. For instance, to become a developed economy by 2047, India's per capita income has to grow more than 6 times what it is today, all the way to $18,000. That's the kind of substance we're talking about. A huge, huge climb.
And that brings us to what might be the ultimate test case, India's massive, high-stakes bet on semiconductors. Seriously, if you want to talk about substance, this is where the rubber meets the road. We're talking about a mind-bogglingly complex industry. It's maybe one of the toughest economic challenges any country could ever decide to take on.
And India is going all in on this. We're talking about an $18 billion investment. Let that sink in. $18 billion to build a domestic semiconductor industry completely from scratch. This isn't just a small wager. It's a massive strategic push to get a seat at the table in the world's most advanced technological race.
Now, what's so wild about this industry is this paradox that economist Nilkanth Mishra points out. He says, semiconductors are among the most advanced things humans have made, but they tray like potato chips. Think about that. These tiny chips are absolute technological marvels, right? Some of the most complex things ever created. And yet, the market is so unbelievably competitive that they're traded almost like a cheap commodity. It's just insane. High complexity, massive stakes, and razor-thin margins.
And believe me, this is a long, long game. It's a marathon of marathons, not a sprint. I mean, just look at China's journey. They started way back in 1998, and it took them almost 3 decades to even get to the 7-nanometer chip, which, by the way, still isn't the absolute cutting edge. So for India, the goal is to get stable production of older 28-nanometer chips by 2030. Reaching the top of the mountain, that could take until 2040, or maybe even longer.
The list of challenges here is just staggering. You're diving into a brutally competitive market where today's breakthrough is tomorrow's old news. The supply chain, like we said, is mind-bogglingly complex. You absolutely cannot do this alone. You need top-tier technology partners. And to build a real, lasting ecosystem, you don't just need one factory or fab. You need a whole cluster of them, maybe 12 to 15, just to be sustainable. It's a huge undertaking.
So you might be wondering, why on earth would you take on this massive challenge? Well, here's the answer. It isn't really just about making chips. The great semiconductor bet is fundamentally about securing a place in the future of, you guessed it, artificial intelligence. That is the ultimate prize here.
And according to Neelkanth Mishra, the way AI impacts an economy really comes in 3 distinct stages. First, you've got invention. This is about creating the huge foundational AI models and the massive data centers they need. Then you have innovation, which is all about building actual business uses on top of those models. And finally, the third step is diffusion, and that's where you integrate AI widely across the entire economy.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating when you look at where India stands today. In that first stage, invention, creating the big AI models, the analysis is blunt. India is, quote, not even part of the race. It just doesn't have the huge data centers or the raw computing power. In the second stage, innovation, it's doing okay. You've got a decent number of companies starting up and a massive talent pool of engineers. But its real killer advantage? It's in that third stage, diffusion. Thanks to its incredible digital public infrastructure, things like the Aadhaar ID system and the UPI payments network, India has this unique, almost unparalleled ability to push AI-powered services out to hundreds of millions of people super quickly and efficiently.
So, where does that leave us? What's the final verdict? Can this new, bold attitude, this swag, actually be translated into real, lasting success in the age of AI?
The most important thing to remember is this. The story is so far from over. This is not a 5-year plan. We're talking about a multi-decade journey, one that's packed with immense challenges and has absolutely no guaranteed outcome. The ambition is crystal clear, but pulling it off, that's going to require decades of relentless focus and just plain hard work.
And that leaves us right back where we started, with the ultimate question. This new swag, this confidence, it's real. You can feel it. But can it be converted into the hard economic and technological substance needed to truly reshape the country's future? That, right there, is the defining challenge for India in the 21st century.